Hey guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking on my channel. For those who are new, hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for clicking on my channel. Hopefully you will subscribe to my channel if you like what I am about to show you guys today. And you know you can always skip back to a lot of my other videos and see if you want to become a part of Yolanda's Journaling's family. So for those who are not new, hey y'all, I have some very exciting news. It's exciting to me because everybody is in their stage of their channels. And on my YouTube channel, which is where we are now, I have gotten up to 600 subscribers. Like, that is a milestone for me, and I am so happy. I am so blessed to have a community like you guys. 600 people have subscribed to my channel. 600 people enjoys my channel. 600 people, 600 of y'all enjoy what I have to give to this book community, and I am so blessed and I am so thankful, and I really do thank each and every last one of you guys for your support. You just have no idea how happy that makes me and how good that makes me feel, because when I started to become a part of this book community, this lifestyle community, this vlogging community, like, I was like, these people are not going to want to listen to me. I'm not going to be interesting to them. But 600 of y'all have proven me wrong. And I just want to thank all of my 600 subscribers, and I want to just thank everybody who follows me on Instagram and TikTok. Y'all are greatly appreciated. And even for the ones that have not subscribed yet, just for you guys watching my channel, commenting, liking my channel, that helps me out a lot with my fear of the camera. And I thank you guys for that too. And just hopefully one day you will want to become a member of Yolanda's Journaling by subscribing to my channel. So if any of you guys ever want to do that, there's a subscription button down on the bottom. And if you click on that button, you will also get a notification bell, and you just click the notification bell, click all, and YouTube will always let you know when I put something up on YouTube. So again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So what I want to give you guys today is my May TBR, or my May anticipated reads, or my May list of books that I wanted to read in May, whichever one you guys want to call them. But first, y'all know I'm a book girly. I am a book everything. So I just wanted to share with you guys a couple of the books that I bought myself today from Barnes and Noble, which this one here came from Amazon. I asked Barnes and Noble, do they have this book, and they looked it up, and they was gonna have one book today. And I think this is the actual day that this book came out. So with its new cover, it is Out on a Limb by Hannah Young. I am so ecstatic to have this book. I ordered it off of Amazon, and it got here today. I ordered it yesterday and it got here today. So versus me trying to be the first one to get to the bookstore to see if I can get this book from Barnes and Noble, I just ordered it off of Amazon, and it came the same day that it was released. But you know, this book was already released. It was just that hold on guys. It was just that she changed her cover. So I'm guessing she went from an indie author to being sponsored or something like that. I'm not quite sure how that works. If any of y'all know how that works, put it down in the comments, please. Please put it down in the comments so I can stop saying something wrong if I am. But anyway, I was so glad to get back home and see this book on my doorstep from Amazon. It is Out on a Limb by Hannah Young, and I think this is like a pregnancy trope book, but it says Winifred Wynne McNulty has always been wildly independent and not one to be coddled for her limb this difference. So that's Win. I'm guessing this right here is Win. Win has spent most of her life trying to prove that she can do it all on her own. With some minor adjustments, she's done just fine. Hooking up at a costume party with a incredibly charming beau changes everything. Win finds herself pregnant and decides to keep the baby, while Beau is surprisingly elated and to stand up to the plate. Win is unsure whether she can handle this new challenge. Together, Win and Beau decides to get to know each other as friends and nothing more while they embark on their parenting journey together. But as they both should know by now, life rarely goes according to plan. So I am wrong. So apparently this is Win sitting on this, and this is Beau. So very, very cute. Like I said, this is a pregnancy trope book. I am so excited to have this book to go on my bookshelf. And the next one that I picked up from Barnes & Noble today was the 7-10 Split by Carmen Lee. And I'm hoping that I'm saying that name right, but I just thought that this book was so stinking cute. The cover of this book just really blew my mind. Karen Lee is a black author, and I love reading books by black authors, and she's actually from Atlanta, Georgia. So she is very close to home for me. But it's called the 7-10 Split. Beautiful, beautiful cover. It says, for teacher Ava Williams, some subjects are not up for debate, like history, specifically the one she has with Grace Jones, bowling pro and local celeb, who is now for no identifiable excuse me, reason teaches at the same small town Georgia high school as Ava. Once upon a time, they were thick as thieves, but best friends, rivals who pushed each other, and total bowling nerds. I like to bowl. Then they shared a kiss, sweet and confusing, and after that they split and nothing was ever the same. Ava is pretty sure she has every reason to hate Grace, especially when the school's soggy potato of a principal announces finally that the students can have the bowling team Ava has been pushing for years, only to hand it to Grace. Now they're expected to be partners and lead their new bowling team to victory in 6 months. And with that, their rivalry is back. Fierce, ultra competitive, and with an undeniable attraction that pushes, pulls, and crashes together. It's history, it's chemistry, and it's just a matter of time before it explodes one after the other. And y'all, this is Pride Month, I'm thinking. So this is actually a Pride book, and so this is a queer book, and I love reading queer books. So I did pick up the 7-10 Split by Carmen Lee. I have 2 other books on my shelf by this author, but I have not read either one of them. But I have heard so many good things about this author, and this author was actually, I think, at my local bookstore. No, she wasn't at our local bookstore. She picked the book of the month for our local bookstore, and it's Annabelle Monaghan. I hope I'm saying that name right. I picked up this book. It's called Summer Romance. I have Nora Off Script and Summertime by this author. Have not started reading it yet. I just love the cover, so I had to pick it up. But this one says that it is a 5-star read, and that was by Abby Jimenez. Like, oh my god, like Abby Jimenez like read this book, and she gives it a 5-star. Now, if any of y'all know or have read Abby Jimenez books, you know that Abby Jimenez has some hella books. I have some of her books up here, and I am actually reading now, which is a part of my June TBR, a list of books to read, is Part of Your World. So I am so excited that she has a comment about this book. So that means she's reading the same books that we're reading. But anyway, this one says, Allie Morris is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died 2 years ago, then her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper in longer than she cares to remember. No one is more surprised than Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware overalls counts, right? She meets someone. Time she starts, or rather the dog claims a man for her by peeing on him. That's so cute. Oh my God. Ethan smiles at Allie like her pants are just right, like he likes what he sees. He looks at her like she's a younger, braver version of herself. The last thing newly single mom Allie needs is to make her life messier, but there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? Y'all, that sounds so cute. And I just love books like this. So to me, this is like a second chance at love romance. And y'all know that is my thing. So I picked that one up. And this one is a YA book. It's part of the YA book club exclusive for Barnes & Noble. It was kind of out of my norm, but I just truly love the cover. So I picked up 12th Night by Alex Fulmuth. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. And this is like a Barnes & Noble exclusive. So I really did love the graffiti that they had on the side of the book. And y'all, look at this stinking book. Like, look at this book. Like, it is so hella cute. So hella cute. And I'm so excited that I picked it up. It says her pain-stricken crafted tabletop game campaign was shot down. Her best friend is suggesting she tries being more likable, and her school's star running back Jack is the most lackadaisical student body president she's ever seen, which makes her job as VP much harder. Viv's favorite escape from the world is the 12th Night, but online spaces aren't exactly kind to girls like her, girls who are extremely competitive and have the swag to prove it. So Viv creates a masculine alter ego, choosing to play as a knight named Cesaro to create a safe haven for herself. But when a football injury leads Jack to the world of 12th Night, Viv is alarmed to discover her online alter ego, Caesar and Duke, are surprisingly well matched. As the long nights of gameplay turn into discussions about life and love, Viv and Jack soon realizes they're becoming more than just weapon wielding characters in an online game. But Viv has been concealing her true identity from Jack, and Jack might just fall for her online. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. Oh, and I just love the cover. I just love the graffiti in this book, y'all. Like, it is just so stinking pretty. And I like the cover. I like the paper cover, and I like the actual cover of the book because it reminds me so much of my mom, because her favorite color is purple. So that really drew my attention to that. And Barnes & Noble picks are just always the best. So those are the books that I picked up for just to be picking up books today. So that is not why we're here, right? That is not why we're here. We are here. Sound like I heard something fall. Anyway, so we are here for me to give you my May wrap up. So let's just jump right into my May wrap up. Alright guys, so I had 13 books on my May wrap up, but I only read 10. I did not get to the other 3 books that I said I was going to get to. 2 of them was on my Kindle. 1 of them was just on my TBR cart there. But I did not get to them. And it's okay because I got to some other books that I guess I just really wanted to read more. So I'm not going to hold y'all time any longer. Let's get started. So the first one that I read was Messy Lives of Book People by Philandra Patrick. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because y'all know I will murder an author's name. So this is called The Messy Lives of Book People. And I rated this book a 3-star. I can say that this book actually did keep me interested enough to not DF this book. And it's just pretty much a mother of 2 named Liv who actually became friends with a writer, and that writer actually passed away. So she had to like resume that writer's life and write the last of that writer's book, which was what that writer wanted her to do. I read this some time ago before May, like I kind of finished it in May. So her life kind of like got turned upside down because, you know, she had to be she had to be a wife, she had to be a mom, and then she had to play the role of somebody that she knew but really did not know, and actually also complete a book that she was actually writing per request of the dying author. So it was a cute book. Would I keep this book to read it again? No. So I did give this one a 3-star. The Messy Lives of Book People by Philandra Patrick. And this one right here, guys, remember this was a reread for me. Honey and Spice by Beloa. And I gave this book a 4-star. Once I reread this book, I really actually did love this book. The love story in this book was outstanding. It's pretty much about a student that had a podcast. She was on her podcast, if I'm remembering correctly, she was like trying to tell her podcast listeners about how to date and how to, you know, like kind of like not fall for guys that is really just not anything for them. So she ended up falling for a guy that she was telling her podcast listeners not to fall for, as far as to get somebody else out of her life and to prove a point to her podcast listeners. But everything kind of flipped on her. It's like the person that she was dating was not actually who she thought he was, and then the person that she was trying to get everybody not to date because she was trying to expose him for who he was actually turned out to be a happily ever after. And that is not a spoiler, guys, because most of it is pretty much on the back of this book. But the love-hate relationship, or the second chance at love, in this book the second time around was so beautiful to me. So Honey and Spice by Beloa. The next book that I read, guys, was an Angie Thomas book, The Hate You Give. I gave this book a 5-star. And the reason why I gave this book a 5-star was because this book was pretty much history for me. It was written by a black author, Angie Thomas, and she pretty much wrote what the world used to be like. And when I had this book, when I was walking around work with this book, everybody would like say, oh, I got the movie, I've seen the movie, and they just rant and rave about the movie, how they really did like the movie. So I was so happy about that, y'all, because once I started on this book, I could not stop. I could not stop. And I could not stop to the point where I actually ended up buying the first book, and it's not close to me, so the first book to this series, which is Concrete Rose. So this was just so cute, y'all. It was about a 16-year-old named Star. She lived in what they would call the ghetto. Okay. She was at a party. She met or ran up on a long-term childhood friend named Khalil. Okay, things popped off at the party, and so her and Khalil ended up in the car. He was taking Star home. So they actually got stopped by the police, and Khalil got killed, and she of course was the witness to the shooting, and she did and did not want to be the witness or exposed to being the witness in the killing because of the area that she lived in and the gangs and everything that was around that area. And she had also lost a childhood friend named, what was her name? What was her name? Anyway, she had also lost a childhood friend at an early age by like a drive-by shooting. So this just wasn't what she wanted to get into, but she still wanted justice for Khalil. So her family and his family ended up, you know, getting together, and the community actually ended up getting destroyed because, like, you know, either or if they convicted the actual person who killed Khalil, the officer. So I don't want to spoil that part if they did or didn't, so you'll have to read the book to find out. But y'all, this book just really hit home for me because it is actually something that, and I know not just African Americans go through this. I'm pretty sure that Caucasians go through this, Chinese people go through this, you know, Japanese, whoever. I'm pretty sure they go through the same thing. But it was just always so outspoken in the African American, the black community. And this book was kind of a real big tearjerker for me because it is actually life for our race. Or at least it used to be, or it still is, however you want to put it. But I just love this book, so I did give this book a 5-star. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Now, this book here was recommended for me to read, even though I've had this book for quite some time. This book was recommended for me to go ahead on and read. So I did. And I ended up giving this book a 4.5 star. Almost a 5-star read for me. It's called The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This book was recommended for me to go ahead on and read by a coworker named Taylor Hall. And when I started reading this book, I could not stop. And by the time I got to the end of this book, I was literally in tears. So when I got back to work, I was like, Taylor, I finished The Things We Leave Unfinished. And she was like, you did? I was like, yes. And I said, you did not tell me that it was a tearjerker. So after that, we just went head on and just started talking about the book and talking about other books that we are actually reading at this point in time. But y'all, Rebecca Yarros, I think besides, what is it? Fourth Wing. Besides Fourth Wing, this was the second book that I read by Rebecca Yarros, and this one just sent me over the top for reading books by this author. This one was pretty much written in like the World War II era, and it's just pretty much about it has the two sisters in the book, but it was pretty much surrounded by a man and a woman who had like a undeniable love, and their love had to stand the test of time with him being a pilot in World War II. With the things that happened in that time of the century, they had a kid, and their love had to stand the test of time as far as him being called off to fly his plane into the war, and if he will not come back, or if she will become a widow. So their love really was like undeniably true, and all of that also stressed her motherhood to her son, and like her relationship with her sister and her family. So y'all, I do not want to say a lot about this book, because if I do, I know that I will spoil it for everyone who has not read this book. But I would suggest that if you like books that are tearjerkers, that are great love books, and in that century of World War II, pick up Things We Leave Unfinished, and I guarantee you that you will enjoy this book. So 4.5 stars. Thank you, Taylor, for encouraging me to go ahead and read this book, because I loved it. Alright, the next one is a queer book. It's called One Last Stop. I rated this book a 3-star, but when I thought about it and what I actually read about this book, I would actually give this book a 2.5 star. I usually love queer books. I love the community of the writing for queer books, but One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston was just not it for me. Because it was just pretty much about a ghost that was gay, and somebody who was actually alive met this person on a train, and it's like they were just on a train the whole time until, you know, whatever happens at the end. But that kind of got boring for me, with, you know, that being the only place that these two met, the only place that, you know, they did whatever they did. And y'all, it do have some spicy areas in it, but I don't know, just the whole train scene just was not it for me. So really, I think I would give this book a 2.5 star. But if you are in a reading slump, I'm pretty sure that this might or might not keep you from out of that reading slump, because it is actually a thick book. It has like 400 some pages in it, and when I'm in a reading slump, I like to read books that are like 200 or less pages. So One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, 2.5, really just did not do it for me. The next one is a thriller book, and it's Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I have heard so many things about this writer as far as a thriller writer, and I gave this one a 3.5 star. I put a question mark on there because I did like the book, and I think I would say that I'm thinking that I more liked it, the author, than the actual book. So I think that's why I put 3.5 star with a question mark. The book was actually good. It was just pretty much about a married couple who, I guess their marriage just was not as it should be. So the Mrs. Wright, she won, or at least she thought she won, a getaway for them in, is it Scotland? Yes, in Scotland, so that they can actually work on their marriage. But the getaway was not actually what they thought it was going to be, and it was somebody in the mix that was lying. So one part of this book that I did like is I did and I didn't, is like, it is full of like letters that Mrs. Wright wrote to her husband every anniversary. And y'all, it got a twist in it though, because maybe you thought the Mrs. You would just have to read the book. I really don't want to say what I want to say because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But it has a Nice plot twist at the end. Now I must say that Alice Feeney, Rock Paper Scissors, it did have a nice plot twist at the end. So I guess, yes, I will rate it a 3.5 star because Adam and Amelia, I think that was her name, like, they had some shit going on. Some shit going on from their past, in their future. And the plot twist at the end will make you be like, what? You know, it's just, y'all, as I'm talking to you guys about this book, I'm actually remembering this book. 3.5 star. Yes, y'all should read this book. So the next one is a Emily McIntyre book. It's called Twisted. And I think this was the only book in this series that I gave a 4.5 star. I really did enjoy this book, Twisted by Emily McIntyre. It was pretty much like the retelling of Aladdin. And the characters in this book was Yasmin and Jalen. I think that's how you say his name. But anyway, it's pretty much like a enemies to lovers book, and I love those kind of tropes. You know, the good and the bad, will they actually fall in love or will they not? And there's not too much that I can say about this book without spoiling it, because when I say retelling of Aladdin, y'all have seen Aladdin, so y'all kind of know what this book is pretty much kind of about. But Emily Henry put some twists in it. She put some twists and turns in it that actually make this book better than the movie. So, and I don't know, I think it was better than, I know it was better than the cartoon, but I want to say, trying to think about the actual movie Aladdin that had Will Smith in it. I think this book is better than that too. So out of the whole series that she wrote, I think I read like 3 or 4 of those books, and this is the best one from that series yet. I haven't read Wrecked and Crossed, so I don't know what those are about, but Twisted, I did give a 4.0 star read, so y'all read that one. The next one is a Amber Smith book, and it is called The Way I Used to Be. I gave this book a, can y'all see that? A 3.5 star. I did like this book. And y'all, I want to say, I do like books that actually has trigger warnings in it, because like the trigger warnings are pretty much like reality life, and sometimes even though you're reading books, you still want to have a little taste of reality life, and I think this book did it for me. This is the book 1 of the series, The Way I Used to Be. And like I said, y'all, check the trigger warnings in this book before you actually start reading this book, because this book has some major trigger warnings in it that will actually trigger a person. It was pretty much about a high school student named Eden, and what she actually went through with one of her brother's friends, and how she felt like if she spoke up to anyone that she would not be believed, like they would think that she was telling a lie. So she kind of like tried to bury everything that happened to her instead. And it says, told in 4 parts, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, this debate reveals the deep cuts of trauma. So check those trigger warnings, okay? But I did give this one a 3.5 star. It is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Alright, y'all, we're down to the last 2 books that I read for the month of May. This one is one that I pretty much kind of like listened to on Libby. from my library versus having the book and reading it. And it is called Black Women Will Save the World, an Anthem by April Ryan. I thought this cover of this book was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I really enjoyed the cover of this book. This right here is April Ryan, and if you know April Ryan, then you know where she's from and what she had to do with America. I gave this book a 3.5 star. If you're really into the government and what actually happened in the government, not as far as memoir what happened in the government, but just so far as like what happened in the government, who made sacrifices, who had to stand up, what promises were made, all that different kind of stuff, then you would like Black Women Will Save the World, an Anthem by April Ryan. I enjoyed listening to her and figuring out and finding out things that I never did know about that happened in, you know, the White House and all those different areas in America. And I really did like the cover of the book. I like the paperback cover of the book, and she made it very interesting in each chapter, because the beginning of each chapter had some type of, you know, nice type graffiti there. And like I said, y'all, this book is just not for the weak. It's not for the weak, because there is a lot of things that happen in America as far as the government and places like that, and as far as Black women. So 3.5 star, but that's only if you like that type of reading. The last book that I read in the month of May, which actually was, I think, the first book that I actually got finished with in the month of May, was a Yasmin Gullery book, and it's called While We Were Dating. I rated this book a 4 star. I really did like this book. It was so cute, so easy to follow, and it was just truly all about love. I can't say it was enemies to lovers. I want to say it was like a second chance romance, because what are their names? Ben and Anna. They both wanted relationships, or did not want relationships that were serious. They just kind of like wanted, you know, something that they can just fool around with and not have any strings attached. But they actually started working together, and you know how feelings start getting crossed, and you know, with them working together, they spent a lot of time together, did a lot of things together, and it was just the way that they treated each other that made each other really like kind of fall in love with each other. But then at the same time, they was trying to deny that as well. At least Ben didn't try to deny it as long as Anna did. But Anna was, both of them, well, Anna was a actress, like a movie star actress, and Ben just like worked at a advertising company. And it was just cute. It was just cute, y'all. I really did enjoy this book. And it also had like, because Anna was dealing with the pressure of being in a movie or not being picked for a movie, and her family pressures. And Ben, he was just an ordinary professional guy that was just so easygoing. Actually did like Anna and did every and anything that he could to make her happy, and he just started really liking her, just like started falling in love with her. And she actually did the same with him, I believe, but I don't know if she wanted it to, she was just, I guess she was just scared, I'm not sure. But anyway, guys, I gave this a 4 star. I really did enjoy this read because it was such a light, fluffy read, and like a second chance at romance read, and you know that I love those kind of books. Like if I read a dark romance or a thriller or, you know, a horror book, like I can only read those for so long, and it might take me forever to read those books, because you know what, I always like to come back to a light fluffy read where people are just happy. People are just happy. And I'm guessing that I gravitate to this genre so bad, y'all, because I just like to read books that kind of like mimics my life, my happiness, my relationship happiness, my happiness period. And I just like to see people happy, and I'm always happy myself most of the time. So I guess that's why I feel like that's why I gravitate toward, you know, nice, light, fluffy read books. But I do like thrillers now. Like I said, I do like a Freedom McFadden book or something like that, where like you jumping into the scene and then you jumping into that scene, and then at the end the whole damn thing is different. Like I do like those kind of books too. But guys, that is it. That is it. And y'all know I can talk y'all heads off forever. But that is it. That was the books that I read for May, and that is how I felt about the books that I read for May. So with that being said, we're jumping into June, and if you have not seen my June list of books to be read, check it out, because you will actually see what books that I will read for the month of June, or my list that I want to read for the month of June. But I so enjoyed these books that I read for the month of May. And y'all, happy reading. Just keep reading regular books, paperback, Kindle books, hardback books, audio books, whatever kind of books y'all like to read. Just keep reading. And y'all, happy reading. Bye guys.